punches.
Yeah, exactly right. You're exactly right. Both of you have worked on Digimon, which is why we were running around trying to get you both. You know, just FYI. Just kidding.
Because everyone else is flown out already.
No, not you. But
Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Let me know what
how
you
does it
think.
feel to be part of a franchise that's has a lot of longevity, right? I mean, do you guys remember when you first came into the job? Have you heard even of Digimon at that point?
Yeah, well, the first Digimon season that I did was Digimon Tamers, so that was season 3. So it was still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
And my brother, who was here, Tom Fahn, he's already left for the airport. He was on season 1.
Yes.
So he was ground
Exactly.
zero.
Yeah.
He played Agumon, and I remember hearing, oh wow, Digimon, that sounds like a cool project. And then when I got the part of Rika, I thought, wow, this is amazing, and just to be a part of that universe. And then we were talking backstage about how awesome it was that I got to narrate the next season, season 4,
exactly.
And then coming back and doing other characters in other seasons. But it's just amazing to be here so many years later, and to meet fans who said, "Oh, I grew up with you, and you were such a part of my childhood," and then having done more recent characters too, and to bring it back around, it's really an amazing thing to hear that we were a part of so many of your childhoods.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was probably like just a smidge too old for the original series of Digimon. I tried to give it a shot, and I got up to an episode where it's Patamon and TK, and they are frolicking in this like primary village, and they're just bouncing up in the air going, whee! And I'm like, I am way too old for this. No, I can't watch this. And then the show got really good, and I was like,
oh yeah.
What? Wait, oh, it's good? Oh, I should have given this another shot.
Right.
And so yeah, then I wound up becoming like a fan of the series. Actually, Tamers is my absolute all-time favorite.
Nice, there you go. Give it up for Tamers, come on.
Yeah, Tamers is amazing. If you have not seen it, it still holds up to this day. It's really solid. Yeah, and I got started in season 6, which was Digimon Fusion, which we're both in.
We're both in.
Yeah.
I play Nene in that.
And,
You play
and I'm Shoutmon.
Shoutmon.
So I'm the main Digimon who turns into absolutely everything because he just has a million transformations.
Yeah.
And did you do Tamers and the other stuff at Studiopolis?
No, originally, okay, so Tamers, we did at, I want to say it was at Saban Studios in Westwood, California,
okay.
yes. And then when I did season 4 and I did the narration for that, I did it at Fox. Did it at Fox, it was pretty cool getting to go on the lot and do Rika narrating the next. And then when I did Data Squad, I played Christy in Data Squad. Doesn't he sound like Richard Horvitz? I'm telling you, that guy. He sounds like it. Yeah. Say, I am Sim. That's what he sounds like. Christy Data Squad was at another studio. It was at oh my God, it was on Cahuenga West upstairs. It was a smaller studio. But it wasn't. But you know what? I think it was.
It might have been
One of their old
Yeah.
addresses when like Jamie was there and had offices there. And then when I did Fusion, it was at the newer Studiopolis.
Right, that makes sense.
So how about you?
Yeah, no, for me, because I think Studiopolis like kind of sprung off of Saban, at very least.
Right.
Yes.
And yeah, I drove everybody at Studiopolis insane.
Why?
I watched the original Fusion in Japanese, and when we got the adaptation, I realized there was a whole bunch of stuff incorrect with the script. And listen, you're not supposed to tell people how to do their jobs as a
my
freaking actor.
gosh.
But I was too much of a fan. I was like, listen, you need to change this. This character is not feline, they're canine. This character is not a girl, he's a boy. Fix this, fix it. And they're just like, okay, all right, Ben, calm down. I could have gotten in so much trouble. Like, they were very patient with me.
Uber fan.
Yeah.
there, but how cool.
But it worked out fine.
Do you speak Japanese?
God, no. No, I had to watch with subtitles. No, yeah.
I I love it though. That's really cool. That they should have hired you as a writer too.
Yeah, exactly, right? Consultant at least.
I was hoping so.
Yeah. Yeah. So was Tom at any point like, I did it better, you know?
Was Tom what? Say it again.
Your brother, right? Was he at any point like, I was better at it?
Oh yeah, everyone is like they're very proud of their season
Yes, of
that
course.
they're on. But he's so adorable as
Yeah,
Agumon, and it so perfectly fits him. So
Very
he
true.
can say that. He can say, I'll let him take that ownership.
We'll let him have it. Because I mean, you've done, like you said, you've done several seasons. You narrated, a season. How different was that for you, to be a little bit, not so much in a character, but a little bit more of a bird's eye view, right, of what the story was going on?
But what was really cool about it is that they said, no, don't be Melissa narrating, be Rika
Right.
narrating, and I mean, whether they wanted Rika to comment on it, it was purely in the script, that
Sure.
what I had in the narration. So, but it was cool to have that little inflection of I've been there as this character,
Exactly.
and
Sure.
now I'm here and I'm guiding you through this next season. So that was kind of a cool thing.
That is kind of good. It's a little bit meta, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was
you
really
get to
cool.
be, you're in it, but a little bit sort of an overview, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't know them, and they weren't part of the
Right.
world that I was in as, or the character Rika,
Right.
but she was still there
Yes.
and overseeing it all.
That's
I
very
really liked that.
Yeah.
I was so excited when they asked me to do that.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's a bit of a unique take, I guess, right? There's not many recurring characters that get to do that, right? Especially going forward to a season that's not their own, right?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool that they took that bit of a risk, maybe a bit of a change there. So, as a fan, right? As a fan, do you have a favorite episode? Does it have to be one that you were in? Just in general,
God. Yeah, so season 3 is Tamers.
right?
Basically, I'm pretty sure the guy who made Tamers also specializes in horror anime because it gets
Nice.
really messed
Yeah, it
up.
does.
Like, I don't know how they aired it on Fox Kids. Yeah, but I mean, there's a character in it. Her name is Jerry. She goes around speaking with a puppet,
Right,
and
right.
you learn that basically she's a victim of all sorts of very heinous behavior.
Yes.
They censored it quite a bit.
That's right.
But she turns into, well, it's not really her. It's a program called the D Reaper that transforms into this messed up, mutated looking version of her. And
Yes.
it's an absolute nightmare.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite part is just how completely off the rails
Right.
Tamers goes. It's wild. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, it was different to say the least.
Yeah, just a smidge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So did you ever get to maybe fanboy a little bit with the people that you worked, with?
Well, we don't get to see each other.
We don't get to work. Like I am just meeting Ben for the
Yeah.
first time this weekend,
Oh, wow.
and in our whole careers.
Wow.
Because when, like you were about to say, I'm sorry, but when we go in and we do when we do our jobs, when we go in and we put the voices in, we don't work with anyone else. We work alone. We work one at a time in the studio because it's very time intensive.
Right.
And you wouldn't be able to do it with multiple actors like you would in an original animation with
Sure.
just the script. So, and you're matching and you're lip flapping and it's very technical. So they have each actor in one at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
this is. I didn't even realize she was Nene until like.
Right?
backstage.
And we were in the same season.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, that's awesome. So there you go. That's a nostalgic hunt first.
Yeah,
Right, so-
you see?
Very awesome, very awesome. So when, do you guys remember, actually speaking of, do you guys remember your first show where you were maybe brought in or you were more recognized for Digimon than other properties?
Say again.
So
Are
basically,
you talking about coming to a
in
con?
general, yeah, so in a con, right? Do you remember if there was a specific moment when you were like, you know what, I think I'm being recognized more for Digimon right now than other, bodies of work?
I don't know if I've ever had that experience. Digimon is usually kind of on the fringes
Right.
of like the stuff that I'm more known for. So it's sort of like when somebody comes up to me and goes, "I remember you from that thing." I'm like, "Oh my God, you watched that thing?
Nice.
Did you like it?" And then they go, "Eh," and then they walk away. No, no, but it's Digimon is it's like a unique group of people.
True.
It
Very
is.
true.
It definitely is.
Yeah, it's very niche and like the people who know really know.
They really,
But
yeah, I
But
was gonna say they go deep, yeah.
But I will say, you know what? I think Rika is one of my top characters that
Nice.
people want to talk about
Yeah,
and
okay.
that they will want a print of, or they'll
Sure.
bring me something. And one of my top characters that people want to talk about.
Nice.
And to talk about that season and to talk about this character, and so that season. My other seasons, they don't really talk about a lot, but that season and that
That guy in
character,
particular.
Rika really goes through just an entire growth as a character.
she does.
That's so
and,
fascinating.
and she's also in the movie, the locomotive. Oh gosh, I can't remember. And so Rika's in that. There's
Right.
it's a whole movie, and then I also sang in that as well.
Oh, that's true.
I
yeah.
sang this song called Promise, and it's on
Ah.
YouTube, and they have the whole sequence in the movie from
That's
that. So yeah, so I mean, but I do get a lot of people who
Ooh, remember Rika fondly?
yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome. Do you get a lot of a lot of figures or a lot of collectibles? Because Digimon has existed for quite a bit of time, right? And as we know, the Japanese create a lot of merch too, for it. So, have you guys seen any cool like collectibles or figurines or things like that about your character that they brought up to you?
There's quite a bit for Shoutmon.
Yeah.
Because he's meant to be kind of like a transformer.
Right,
where
right.
like he fuses with different characters, and so there's all sorts of different models, but I almost never get to see them out
Oh,
in the
really?
wild. Yeah, I think they were all limited run.
Limited run, yeah. And for me, I mean, like there are no pop figures for
Right.
Rika, but every once in a while I'll get a little figure or a little something.
Right.
But it was so long ago.
Yeah.
So I have my prints.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
sometimes people will bring like a poster that they got when they were a kid that
Yes.
has like all the kids, all the kids and all of the Digimon on it, and you see like everyone's signature on
Oh,
it, and
that's
I'm always
awesome.
happy to add to that.
Yeah, still with the Fox Kids, stamp on it.
Fox Kids.
Yeah, does anybody here remember Fox Kids? I don't know if hey, there we go.
That's a lot of hands.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo,
That's actually quite a bit.
yes.
Awesome. So we're not speaking into, like, I don't know what that is.
Oh, thank goodness.
And if who doesn't,
Yes.
Google it. Okay. But yeah, definitely, Fox Kids. We grew up with them, and it's kind of funny how a lot of those shows, right, that were popular back then, have made a resurgence, right? Like now, especially like for example, X-Men '97, things like that. So it's always kind of interesting how nostalgia, keeps branding, keeps selling, right? How do you feel about that? Do you think that it's like, okay, you know what, we were popular when the show was airing or just when it finished, and then do you feel that it maybe went away a little bit and now it's like maybe coming back a little bit more?
Yeah, this stuff is very cyclical.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've heard they're going to bring back Spider-Man from
Exactly.
the 90s. So
Yeah.
like, that's going to be
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all the stuff that like I grew up watching as a kid.
Exactly.
And then, there are people like me who never really grew up and were like, I still watch cartoons, bring back the stuff I like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It doesn't go away, yeah.
And it makes you feel good, and because of what we do, and you're so alone in the booth, and then it's put out in the world, and sometimes you don't even see it.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Right.
people bring me things, I'm like, did
You
I
watched
do
that?
that? And I guess, oh my God, I did do that. And just to know that there's life, and like you said, it's cyclical, that these performances and that these shows keep coming back around, it makes us feel really, really incredible to know that they're appreciated,
Right.
and that they want to be seen again and heard
Nice.
again.
Yeah, exactly. So I was gonna ask, let's say that they call you up and they're like, you know what, we're gonna go back, right? We're gonna go back to Digimon, or we're bringing in a new thing. Would you guys still be interested in participating?
I mean, work is work, buddy. The answer is yeah.
I like that. Yeah, very
Of
true.
course, yes.
Very true. So, It is. It is. Again, it's a franchise that has existed for, I mean, just over 20 years right now, but this probably
Yeah.
more, I think.
Yeah.
How, did you ever did you ever thought that going in right for the first recordings, and you're like, you know what, people are gonna keep seeing this for 18, 17 more years, right? And when that happens, when somebody walks up to you, right, like at the shows, and they're like, man, you know what, I saw this episode 15 years ago, and you're like, oh yeah, I kind of wish I would have done that better.
Oh yeah, that's my entire life.
Oh.
Yeah, it's rare when I see something and I go, no, that was actually perfect, and I'm
Nice.
happy with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think every actor goes through
Yeah,
that.
sure.
That
Oh,
that you just say, oh yeah, I would have tried that differently. But that's us in our own heads.
Sure, yeah.
And and then you have to trust your director.
Right.
And trust that they picked the take that they
works
wanted.
best.
Yeah. And if it resonates
Yeah.
with everyone, and here we are, however many years later, then it was all good.
That's true.
Yeah, yeah. And so I guess that also adds, you as a fan, right? That's got to add a little bit of a layer, or you're like, I really, really want to do a good job.
You'd think, but like instead, once you're actually doing the job, you
Right.
focus more on like what you're supposed to be doing, which is take direction,
Sure.
deliver the performance that you're supposed to deliver,
Right.
and then get out, let them do their job, where they actually take all of our stuff and fix it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, gosh, back when you were doing Digimon, were they still doing loops, as in like there were no beeps, it was just going to it, or were you actually on the beeps?
No, we had beeps.
Oh, thank God.
We did have beeps then, but I go all the way back in anime to where there weren't beeps.
What was that like?
And you just had to count, like okay, you're coming in at, frame, 0725. At 0722, think 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow.
And yeah, it was no joke. It was, and the very first voiceover I did, it was an old title called Guyver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Guyver and all of us first doing anime. Steve Bloom,
Wow.
my brother Tommy Fahn,
Right.
Everyone, Mona Marshall, all these people that have been around for a million years, but who have incredible careers.
Absolutely.
We all started doing anime in LA through a company called Animes. And Kevin Seymour, I don't know if you ever knew Kevin Seymour. They would literally tap us on the shoulder. And we
Oh, wow.
all were in the room together on mics. It was crazy.
Really?
So that was the only time in my life that we did like group anime. Then after that, it was
You were like,
one
we're
at
not
a
doing
time.
this.
Yeah, but literally they would come around and go like 3, 2, 1. Yeah,
Yikes.
they would do. It was crazy. So yeah, it's come a long way, baby. And Pro Tools.
God
well,
bless Pro
hello.
Tools. It saved us so much.
They can slide it a little to the right or a little to the
Squeeze it,
left. Yeah,
stretch it.
squeeze
Oh,
it. It's
God bless modern
amazing. So sessions become much more cost friendly now. I
Yeah.
mean, you can really get a lot done
That is
quickly.
Right. So from back then, do you remember a session that was particularly, long, and you were like, you know what, this we're never gonna get this done.
I think they just had to learn.
Yeah.
They just had to
Well,
learn the
and-
technique of it.
Right, and with so many moving parts, right? I mean, when you have several actors in the same room, all trying to stay focused, take their cues, do their lines, emote everything, and then moving on to the next one.
It was challenging.
Yeah, I bet.
Challenging
I
to say
bet.
the least,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, that's how the industry also learned, right? It's like, hey, maybe give these guys a little bit of a break and let them know, like when something's about to happen, right?
Totally.
Helps.
Yeah. So, how do you've worked on several seasons, right? How do you try to sort of approach the characters in a different way, right? Because you're no stranger to sort of the overall setting, right, of the show. Of course, each character is a bit different. How do you approach, like, do you even think about what you've done before in Digimon? Or you're like, you know what, I'm gonna, clean slate. This is a brand new character for me. I don't know what Digimon is. What is your process like?
I think for me, it goes character by character. the physicality of the character, the age, all the details of what makes each character unique, and then bring what I, Melissa, would bring to it. And I try not to think about whether one sounds like the other or the other. I mean, unless the director is like, oh, wait, you did this character, so let's make sure that she's in a different pitch or a different place. I mean, the good thing about it is that they were in different seasons, but there are shows that I'm sure you've been on as well, where you're playing, like you come in as a utility person and maybe you play 2 or 3 or 4 different characters, and you have to section them off in your voice, like, okay, well, this first voice was up here, and then the next voice was down here, or whatever mishmash you do. But for me, it always starts with being able to look at the character and seeing the physicality of it and getting as much information, background of the character, and then it informs what choices I want to make with my voice.
Boy, we got kind of lucky with Digimon Fusion, because there's a third part that never got dubbed, in which all of the characters from the previous seasons come back, and Nene is paired up with Rika.
No! I didn't even know that!
Yeah,
oh my
so
god!
It would have been you talking to you.
I would have loved that! I would
Wild.
have loved that! That would have been great. Maybe it'll still happen.
You never know.
We'll talk to the Digimon god.
That's right.
That would be awesome. I would love it.
Yeah, exactly. Ben had seen some stuff, right? Before working on Digimon, you'd seen Digimon,
stuff,
right?
Yes.
Right. But did you get any visual, did you get to see 1 or 2 episodes at least, before going into the recording, or, coming up with the character? Or was it all just, on the page?
Talking about...
Who are you asking?
Yeah, I'm asking.
Melissa, wait, what are you asking?
So basically, if they ever gave you any visual reference for your character in terms of the Japanese show, right? Like beforehand.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, usually what we'll do is take a listen to what was already originally recorded in Japanese or in whatever language you're dubbing. Take a look at that. Okay, you take it in, and then you reinterpret it with your own choices as well. You don't want to do it, at least I don't, and I'm sure most actors don't. You don't want to do it verbatim with their inflections. You have to make it your own as an actor, because maybe in Japanese, the inflection would be on a different word or in a just completely different language. But it is very helpful to hear it in the original language. It does inform you, especially in this end of being a voice actor. It really informs you. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you try to match the Japanese too specifically, you sort of lose sight of the fact that we're not making this for people who speak Japanese. They already have a version. It's called Japanese. They already speak that language. This is for us. This is for Americans and for Canadians and Australians. Anybody who speaks English.
Speaks English.
So it has to sound right in English to English speakers. And yeah, if it doesn't work, because you're trying to sound like you're doing Japanese while speaking English, it gives everything totally off. So
I mean, you have to. I mean, that it's a really incredible part of being an actor, an incredible end of the industry, because you don't want to copy. You really have to make your own choices, and you're getting caught. You can get caught in such a trap if you do that. So you want to make it your own and individualize it as much as possible.
Right. Yeah, very much so. Okay, guys. So that's about all the time we have for this panel. And again, I cannot thank our guests enough for coming up here.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. Our pleasure.
Thank you so much, and saving my butt, by the way, in the process. So thank you again. Hopefully, we will see maybe that 3rd season. With
you never know.
You never know, right?
Pretty fun. So give it up one last time for us.
Thank you guys so much.